issues on the front end.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Woo.
Tuner, you gotta like that whenever you go back to back without having any problems.
Back to back, dude.
Yeah.
No complaints here. How's it going?
Good, how you doing?
That's good, man. It's been. I woke up today and I was like, dude, how long has it been since we recorded? How long has since we've had the podcast?
Yeah, it seems like it's been a little bit.
Yeah, it for sure felt like more than just a week, but that's right, Jake. We back. Welcome back, everybody, to the chat. Welcome to the W Podcast Live Edition on YouTube. That's where it's at. Welcome, Tubby.
How's it going, Jimothy?
You know what? It's a good day. It's Super Bowl week. It's the Super Bowl lead-up week. I hope I'm ready for it because I got the Chiefs. I just got the Chiefs hat on. I can't overdo it right now. I have a jersey. I got the coat. I got everything. I got the beanie. But I was like, okay, this is gonna be too much if I do it all right now.
Yeah, make sure you kind of temper things just in case something happens.
Yeah. What up, Bandwagon Breaks making the debut in the chat. Look at that.
Band.
Love it.
Another one of my buddies from the cards. Yeah.
Yeah. We had a guy who commented on one of the last YouTubes afterwards, the YouTube video of it, and he mentioned we need to do more bass fishing stuff. Did you see that? And I was like, listen, I got nothing here, but I feel like that might be closer to you. You're the fisherman of the two of us.
I mean, I probably could give out some knowledge, but yeah, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, it was an old buddy of mine, and he's a really good guy, but he was a professional bass fisherman too. So
oh yeah,
you guys might click, man. His name's Corey.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm just saying, just throwing that out there.
I mean, if he's a professional, then I'm pretty sure he would be the one giving me the pointers.
That's true. He's really down to earth. He's a really legit dude. So I think
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but so I wonder if I can put that in the chat. What I sent you today, that LeBron thing. Let me see.
I don't know.
I want to add it. I thought it was just too good not to. So let me see.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, I kind of had an idea that was kind of that, but then again, I didn't realize it was that bad.
Yeah, so I can't put it. I tried to put it in the comment section for everybody if you're watching or just tuning in a little bit later. So essentially, it was: is LeBron, is he truly the greatest? Because as we all know, early in his career, from 06 to 07 or 2017, 06 to 2017, that time frame when he was constantly making the NBA Finals, it was like, man, the West is so much better. And it wasn't even that the West got weaker as he went on. And actually, the West got stronger. And I'm not a big all-star guy. So whether it's NFL, Pro Bowl, we'll get to that in here in a minute, NBA All-Star games, baseball All-Star games, I'm not a huge proponent of that tells you how good someone was. It just, to me, it usually tells you that they're probably good, but most likely really popular. Now, all NBA teams, all pro teams, all MLB teams, that's the list I want to be a part of. That's the list that means something to me. Now, they did this little ranking, and it was the East weak when LeBron was going to the finals continually. And the way they did this was all NBA by conference. So there's 3 all NBA teams, first, second, and third. And in those, a majority, at least 60% or more. 60%, you're like, oh, that's not really that much. That's 9 out of 15 were in the West at the time, were all NBA players. Now, what I love was the deep dive that this other guy did. He ended up saying, okay, but in the East, how many great all NBA teams did he have to, or players did he have to play against on his road to the finals, like that played his possession that he would have been matched up against? Yeah. And he got 3. Carmelo in 11 and 12. Carmelo was pretty great back then. I mean, is this Paul George back in 2012? Dude, I feel like Paul George cannot have been in the league that long, but they had Paul George in there 2 straight years, and that just blows my mind.
Yeah, it's pretty wild stat. And the thing is, everyone's like, oh, well, he's about to break the points record and all that stuff. But there is one big thing, is if you go and basically give Michael, so I think it was like 370 some amount more games that LeBron James has played than Michael Jordan in his career. And so if you take his career average of 30 points per game, he would right now be 4,000, almost like 4,500 more points ahead of LeBron James at this point. And I think that's something that people don't realize. I mean, LeBron was playing when he was 18, 19 years old.
Yeah,
and now he's playing up into, his 40s. Those guys back in the day, they had to wait to go into the NBA.
They had to wait, and they played all 82, and they played 38 minutes a game.
Yeah, and on top of that is, like you said, you're having to wait until you're in you're 22, 23, depending on how long, how old you were going into college. So you're a 4 or 5 years difference age-wise than LeBron was when he started in the NBA. And so I think that's something people don't realize, is that he played that much more. And I'm sure the shots, attempts is way higher too. I didn't quite look at that one, but I'm like, that's a big number. So, you take that 30 points per game and you added 377 more games. It was, a ridiculous amount more points. And, I'm like, it would take him 3 or 4 more really solid years to get close to that number. And it's just,
and then just think of the difference that basketball was then. And we're not a basketball podcast, but the amount, like you said, number of games is one thing. 1,400 games to 1,000 games.
Yeah,
that's just the difference between him and MJ. And no one here should be saying that MJ or that LeBron's better than MJ, because it's just not happening. But Michael scored 30 points per game when it was so much harder to score 30 points per game. And he played minutes. Like he had 40 minutes a game with 82, and 81 games played in 3 straight seasons. And then the next season, he was at 39 minutes a game with 82. And I'm like, this dude constantly played the game. His career low was like 34, not counting 85, 86 season when he was hurt. So I don't know. I love what you said about field goal. I was trying to find his actual field goal attempts. I'm going to be able to find it here. So we got field goal attempts for MJ was at 24,000. Good Lord, 24,537. Now I want you to guess how many he's got. LeBron?
Ooh. Man, that's tough. This is because I know LeBron, especially early in his career when he had no help, was probably throwing the ball up quite a bit there. We'll say 29,000.
He's at 27,000. 27,809. So he's pretty close to 20. I feel like that's a pretty good guess. I will say his career high is 857. Compared to Michael's, like, give me the ball, I'm gonna go score. 3 times he went over 1,000, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 other times he went over 900. Give me the ball. He's gonna do it great. So again, we're not a basketball podcast, but I saw it, and we got a new guy at my job, and he's adamant that the best point guard in the league in our era right now is Steph Curry. And I was like, whoa. Steph Curry's not a point guard. Steph Curry's a guard. I think there's a difference. And so we had this whole thing about, I mean, is it just like what defines a point guard? For me, it's you're a ball distributor, right? You're like a facilitator of the offense, not the offense, because it's a positionless league at this point. So,
Marcus, what's up, buddy? How you doing? But so it's funny that you bring that up. I saw something today, and it's like the league leaders in the NBA, like assists, points, and stuff like that. Can you guess who leads the NBA in assists? Total assists, not assists per game, but total assists. Leader in the NBA this year, right now. No, not even close.
Not even close. Ball. Or no, he's hurt. Never mind.
I'll tell you, it's not a point guard.
Oh my! It's Luka.
It's not Luka.
Oh, dude! It's okay. Last guess I got here. It's what's his name in Denver.
Nikola Jokic.
Yeah, I don't know what the Joker. Yeah, I don't know why I'm on blank, but
Nikola Jokic leads the NBA.
And like a race. He beat
total assists. yeah. And it's like like assists per game. It's like 0.2 difference between him and Tyrese Halliburton. Yeah. I mean that just the season that he's having is pretty wild.
Yeah.
That he's averaging triple-double right now as a center, and it's not blocks or it's he's averaging like 10.4 assists per game, 10.3 assists per game for a guy that size. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, and it only took me 5 guesses because I'm not watching a whole lot of NBA right now. I'm trying.
I mean, I'm not either. It
Into
just it popped up on like either Facebook or Instagram or something like that. Like the league leaders in each category and stuff like that. And so I was just scrolling through, looking at it. But yeah, I was like, that one's very interesting.
Yeah. Well, did you see your team? You're a Mavericks guy. I mean, you just got Kyrie,
Dude.
so all-star.
I absolutely hate it.
Actually, give me Dorian Finney-Smith again. I'd rather have it.
Yeah, I hate the fit because I mean, Luka, he's a ball dominant guard.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Kyrie Irving, he's a ball dominant guard. We saw what happened whenever they threw Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie together when they played. I mean, you have to decide who's going to have the ball in their hand, and I'm sure neither of them is want to give that up. So I was like, man, I would have much rather seen like a Zach LaVine, someone that probably complements him better, a wing scorer. Yeah, I'm a big Zach LaVine guy. I mean, so I bet, someone that can score on the wing, drive it. But then on top of that, you just traded your best defender, and now your defense was ranked pretty low, is now you're going to be even worse.
Yeah, exactly right. Now, you did say they had to figure out how to work really well together. KD and Kyrie, they played 77-ish games together over 250 plus.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I don't think you have to worry too much about it. Maybe a change of scenery gets him back in the game more, and he's healthy. He wants to be healthy. But as soon as he said, "I want to be traded," he was hurt, and I don't know if he was actually hurt. He could have been.
No.
But it was pretty interesting timing to be like, I'm out the next game.
Well, did you see the owner though? He was like, I traded him. There was no way I was trading him to the Lakers. I didn't care if that's where he wanted to go. I wasn't going to, even if they had the best offer, I wasn't going to trade him to them.
We all want to see Westbrook with Durant back again.
Right? Can you imagine that? I'm pretty sure after that, Durant would be like, okay, now it's my turn. So I ain't playing until I get traded. But yeah, I hated it. I absolutely hated it. And like I said, we're not big basketball anymore, but I'm still a Mavs fan. Yeah, still a Mavs fan, and I could not stand that they made that trade.
Well, so I'm a Suns guy, and I did not like that they said we want KD, and I'm like, no, you don't. No, you don't. You don't want a guy. I mean, whatever.
They offered Chris Paul and Jay Crowder and multiple picks for Kyrie Irving.
I did hear that they were also
Yeah.
But that's just a dumb trade. I mean, Chris Paul, he hasn't won a championship, but dude, we're getting way off topic here with all this basketball talk. But guys, I appreciate you jumping in the chat. I mean, Marcus, you're correct. The Nuggets should be better than what they are. They just haven't done it yet. And I don't understand. When you have probably one of the top 5 players, you got a current Mount Rushmore team or a guy up there right now. Not all time, but just
in the last, 6, 7, 8 years. Yeah, he's one of those guys that he's back to back MVPs, on the verge of possibly going, three-peat with the way he's playing right now. Number 1 in the Western Conference. Yeah,
I know, which is nuts, man. To look at the teams that are not at the top right now, I'm shocked. Even as a sideline fan right now, just not really.
You got the Kings are up there.
What is going on,
De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis.
I think Sabonis has always been underrated. When the Thunder got rid of him, I was like, that was dumb. This is a guy that's better than what Nick Collison was. He's more versatile, and you got rid of him, in that trade. So it's fine.
Yeah, he's a very underrated guy.
It's very consistent. Gets the ball going. So real quick, I want to know what your top 5 all-time. Not your top 5. Sorry, that's 2 different questions. What's your all-time starting lineup for the NBA?
For the NBA,
I'll give you mine too. Yeah, the new guy at work, he's going over it, and he's been asking all of us at the office this, and I'm like, okay, this is a great question.
Yeah,
and you got to go. I mean, you can choose if you want to go traditional point guard, shooting guard, all that stuff. But
I'm a traditional guy, so I'm going point guard, shooting guard. Yeah. So
and while Tubby's putting his in the chat, feel free or letting us know what his is. Feel free to put yours in the chat too. Your top 5.
Yeah. Okay. So point guard. This one, and I'm gonna go Magic Johnson. I think he is the best point guard, but I love John Stockton.
Okay.
And so I know people are going, oh, John Stockton, the scoring, blah blah blah. I don't care. I'm a traditional guy, but I'll go Magic Johnson. Okay. Shooting guard. It depends on where you want. If you can play him, where you want to play him, but Michael Jordan was a shooting guard.
Yeah,
Michael Jordan.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Michael Jordan, greatest player to ever play the game.
Mm-hmm.
Small forward, Larry Bird.
Oh, dude, I was so worried you were about to say Kevin Durant. And I really thought you were going to say it for a half a second.
Then, I'm this part is probably going to be a homer pick. I'm going Dirk Nowitzki.
Okay.
He changed the game of basketball. He came in and literally changed the game of basketball. Top 6 all-time in scoring, greatest foreign player to ever play. And then my center is Wilt Chamberlain.
See, that makes sense. You didn't get Bill Russell in there, which I am shocked.
Yeah, and if I'm a massive Bill Russell fan, and they are doing a documentary. Netflix is about to come out with the Bill Russell documentary, so I'm pretty happy about that. But I mean, Wilt Chamberlain's, him and Shaq are arguably the most dominant players to ever play the game. I mean, physically dominant players to play, and I mean, I know probably being in an era where he's playing against, more guys like Shaq and Hakeem and stuff like that, the numbers aren't as gaudy, but the dude literally, averaged 40 points, 20 rebounds multiple times in his career.
Which is insane. He was kind of playing against us.
I mean, still, he had the greatest defensive center in that era too, Bill Russell.
It's true, he did, yeah.
So, I mean, every once in a while, he'd have to play one of the greatest.
Yeah. So, I like our list is almost the same. Can you guess the one that's not the same?
Knowing you, there's 2 possibilities.
It's not the first one that came to your mind. I'll tell you that.
Okay, so it's not Kobe.
Yeah, that was. It's
so
hard not to, because I love Kobe.
So I'm guessing you're going Shaq at center.
So there's 2. My bad.
Okay.
For some reason in my head, I put it in the chat, and I put yours with Shaq, not.
No. And
so,
I'm guessing.
Oops.
Then I'm guessing power forward's different too, because like you said, I'm guessing Tim Duncan.
No.
No.
I think Tim Duncan is great, but if you give me 2 guys, Mr. Fundamental, do I want the one that's going to compete to get every inch of that court is his court?
Okay.
That we grew up with this guy. Our first fantasy basketball league, I worked so hard with Alex. You remember Alex, the guy who to trade for him in that fantasy league and never got it done.
The only other guy I can think of is Kevin Garnett.
That's it. Bingo. KG. Oh, I put KJ. Dude, I can't type. I can't type and talk. So anybody in the chat, I'm sorry. So first off, Tubby's center was not Shaq. It was Kareem, correct?
Yes.
The all-time leading scorer, which makes sense.
No, it wasn't Kareem. It was Wilt Chamberlain.
Wilt Chamberlain. Thank you. Okay, Wilt Chamberlain. Dude, look, I cannot remember. I can't do 2 things at once. I cannot double task. Let's not even say multitask. It's 2 things. I can't do 2 things. So, and then I got KG, not KJ.
But I mean, they both are respectable. Listen, like I said, I know the Dirk one. Everyone's gonna be like, oh, whatever. But I'm a Mavs fan, and Dirk. I mean, the thing is that the argument is there. I think he's one of the most underrated players that people don't give him credit for what he was able to do in Dallas by himself. He went and won a championship by himself, basically with a washed-up Jason Kidd, a washed-up Jason Terry. I mean, Sean Marion at the end of the And I mean, you had Tyson Chandler, who was great, but then you had Deshaun Stevenson, Ryan Cardinal on this team that were contributing, and went out and beat LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh in their prime. By himself.
It did. Absolutely. It was an epic series. That was a great finals.
Yeah, I mean that's
was 07? Yeah, 07.
No, 11.
11. I'm thinking 06 was the last year that he won before that. Okay.
Yeah, and I mean that to me is like my core like sports memory. That's the one that I will always be the most fond of. When he's at the foul line and he pump fakes, gets Bosh off the ground, and he does the little over the shoulder finger roll at the basket to tie up the ball game. And then the next play comes down, gets a shot, and boom! It was great. So I couldn't leave him off.
Yeah, we have a couple of guys that said Kareem over Shaq for sure, which I think that's tough. I mean, Kareem is great, and you can't argue with the guy who scored as much as he did.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard for me for Shaq because he was so dominant. Now, his career, it hit a peak and then it dove down real quick as soon as he went to the Suns. And it was like, okay, well, he's done. But, I mean, he was so dominant. Duncan, also another one, dude never won less than 50 games. I mean, that's true. I mean, you look at that team since he and Tony and Manu and, you know, those guys have all gone, and this team is a shell of itself. And somehow Greg Popovich is still coach. He still wants to coach there, I guess. I don't understand that. But, and I keep thinking they have the right guys, and then it just doesn't work. So we got a couple of them. We've got AI. Ooh, I love the Allen Iverson one. Marcus, man, what a start. AI, Kobe, Pippen. Ooh, look at some defense there. There you go, too. Duncan and Kareem. I will say, I want to see a team with Kobe and AI in crunch time. And give me the ball, bro. But they both work super hard, so I think Kobe would trust AI.
Yeah. I'm surprised no one has said Hakeem Olajuwon. I mean, because honestly, in that era too, I mean, he was unstoppable. He was the dream shake. Yeah, and the defense. I mean, all-time leader in blocks. So I'm surprised. I mean, that is the thing though. There's so many different variations you can go with, and this is a big. You know, it depends on if you're trying to go best team you can build, or most cohesive team you could possibly build. But yeah, I mean, that's where the greatest of all, your top 5 can be different from others. And yeah,
man, that's good. So yeah, what up, Dan? Thanks for joining today. So we got another one. Okay, so we got Gary Payton, which is the first. I have not heard Gary Payton in there, but he said he wants some defense and passing from his point guard. Nothing else. And he's a good shooter. He's good. But Kobe, MJ, Dirk, Shaq. So even with the Kobe and the MJ, so I do like that. That's more the style. And then another Dirk sighting for you, and then
Jake.
Shaq. So
Jake knows.
Well, he did go Gary. Are you going to call him out for Gary, or are you okay with the Gary Payton?
So if you're looking at that, if you're just going as a cohesive team, I'm okay with that. Because, I mean, you got your defense. I mean, you got three really good defensive players. And on top of that, Gary Payton is the only point guard to ever win Defensive Player of the Year.
Okay, and that's a huge point. So yeah, he's right. The defense passing ability is going to be there. Baird's Cards 89, man. Thanks for joining the chat as well today. Dude, there's someone else here who says, give me Tubbs, and Tubbs. I have seen Tubbs play, and the dude can rebound with the best of them. And rebounding not only wins championship, it creates dynasties. And he can score. He's got the pick and roll. He knows the fundamental of the game.
Gonna make me blush. Gonna make me blush.
Come on, that's great. Cohesive team. Jake's over here saying he's going for cohesive team.
And that is a very cohesive team.
I'm not gonna call my friend, but he did have Steph Curry. Pretty sure he had LeBron. He did have MJ. No. And I think he had Tim Duncan and Shaq. But it's the LeBron and the Steph. I can't do the Steph. If you want a great shooter, absolutely.
Yeah, but I'm not going with him as my point guard.
I don't even know how to come back from this.
Oh man!
I'm about to announce this team, man. Come on now.
That's the team. All right, so we got Mario Chalmers,
Rock Chalk,
Damon Jones, Michael Beasley, Joel Anthony, and the man in
still in the league,
Miami, Udonis Haslem. I think he won. Bandwagon wins.
How many rings does Udonis have? I mean, we got to count.
At least 2. I say no 2 for sure. I don't remember how many LeBron won in Miami.
Isn't that weird? We don't remember. I think
not
1,
honestly,
not 2, not 3, not 4.
Yeah, no. I mean, he counted way too many, but yeah.
3. Yeah, thank you. Okay, we got 3. All right.
So I knew it was Miami had won at least 2 because one was against the Mavs, and then I know they won the year after against the Thunder after they lost to the Mavs.
Man, imagine, that's a whole different side topic.
This the Flint Tropics.
Jackie Moon. Where's Jackie Moon, people? Come on.
Oh yeah, downtown funky stuff Malone. Oh man.
That's the second time that movie's come up in the last week for me. It just to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the
so
greats. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Bandwagon Breaks, for the 06, 12, 13 for Udonis. I mean, check it. I mean, he's going to know the Udonis stat line. That's for sure. So,
and so he is a big Miami Heat fan. So
okay. So he's counting them. The question is, the Bandwagon, do you have the banners or like a jacket or a hat with each of those? Like just repping it. We got. So at work we got the Chiefs Super Bowl banners. We got one for 4, one for 54, and then hopefully this year. Come on now.
57. Trying.
That's actually why we have the title of this episode is Super Bowl Preview, and we have only talked about basketball for 25 minutes.
Dude, so after we posted the videos telling we're going live, I went through it, and I have done a pretty good job of not messing up and not putting something out there without mistakes. Well, I made a massive mistake on that.
You know what? It didn't.
It was
people show up.
Yeah, who go to the Super Bowl?
I saw it after I posted. I was like, man.
Yeah, I saw. I mean, it was like it still kind of makes sense, but yet again, it's not what we're going for. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I posted it, and I was like, oh well, nothing we can do about it now.
So we do have other show notes that aren't huge right now, but you want to hit them real quick before we hit record, and then we'll do our Super Bowl preview episode. I know we got off on a really good side tangent there of basketball, but who knows? Maybe we'll just incorporate some basketball. Who knows?
Maybe.
So first things first, Bill O'Brien leaves Bama as OC, and Saban brings in Tommy Rees. Big deal. Is it a good cover? What do you think?
I mean, it's great for Oklahoma,
right?
Because I guess from what it sounds like, he offered Jeff Levy. And Levy turned it down. So that's great for Oklahoma that we get Levy for at least another year. I mean, I'm not huge on the Tommy Rees. I'm not a big fan of Tommy Rees, honestly.
No, I haven't been either yet. I haven't seen the results that say like he should be a power, the top tier of Power 5.
Yeah, especially offensive coordinator wise. And so I'm indifferent about it. But I know a lot of Notre Dame fans, especially Notre Dame great Tim Brown, was especially happy. He put on there, what a great day for Notre Dame football when Tommy Rees left.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, I think some Notre Dame people will be happy. Then he did take Kevin Steele, the defense coordinator from Miami, as he's the new defense coordinator since Pete Golding left in Alabama. That happened today. And I think they said this is the 5th stint that Kevin Steele is going to have with Nick Saban as someone on his defensive staff. All so, right. I mean, familiarity.
Yeah, dude.
But he hasn't been the greatest defense coordinator in the last few years. I mean, look what he did with A&M and Auburn. Not great stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah, especially Auburn. I mean, A&M,
Yeah, you should have done better. Yeah. And so now, I mean, I don't know how he may have only been at Miami for a year, so may have been just that rebuilding year with Mario. But I don't know. I think that, I mean, I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, but I think there might be some questions this year in Alabama.
Ooh, oh boy, we'll see. They still have a good recruiting class. I mean, it's still Nick Saban, but we'll see. It could be I don't know about their quarterback situation. The guy that came in a couple of times for Bryce Young, I am not confident. He's not like a freshman or anything like that. I think he was a sophomore or a redshirt.
I think he was a redshirt freshman.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's got time to develop, but man, I'd be a little bit more nervous right now than I have been in a while. Because they really haven't had anything like this. Because it's also different. Because even when they had like Mac Jones, and before that they had like McElroy, and what's the other kid before that? Was copy paste, same guy.
So you had AJ McCarron.
Hey, that was it. That was the one. Remember when AJ McCarron was a thing and teams?
Yeah. And then Jeff Sims. No, not Jeff Sims. Someone else. What is his name? It's not Jeff Sims. Jeff Sims is in college football now. But Sims, he was a quarterback too. Coker,
all the
Jake
same.
Coker.
But this is not the same thing. So
no, because they had the thing with all those teams was they had a dominant defense.
Yeah, and last couple years gone away from that.
Yeah, they haven't had the dominant defense. So I think there is a big question this year in Alabama.
Well, and so that brings up. I mean, you look at the next transition here. OU Texas. I was on record on this podcast saying that they're going to be out of the Big 12 earlier than normal because you do not want to go into the Big 12 and be playing in the Big 12
Yeah.
with Cincinnati, BYU, and
Cincinnati, BYU, Houston, UCF.
Yeah, you don't want to be playing those teams. Well, guess what? Now we
Yeah.
are looking at the Big 12. They cannot work out the deal for OU Texas, which is a lot of money with 2 different networks, I believe. And then you're talking about PC networks and how that would work out. I can't understand how how these schools who have so much money can't get this figured out, because it's going to be weird seeing the Big 12 with 14 teams, which isn't the end of the world. I mean, the Big 10 has 14 teams, but it's weird in the sense that, man, Cincinnati, BYU, Houston, and UCF, it's just not the same. Is it the same level of competition? They don't have the recruiting, and so I think it won't help OU. It'll help those teams, but it won't help OU or Texas.
Yeah, and I mean, it's weird because you got Oklahoma State. They don't play Texas this year.
Oh, they don't?
And so, no, and so it's weird.
That's so weird.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say they don't play TCU either.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
It's going away from the Big 8 for sure.
Yeah, it's odd, and it sounds like most of the problems was Fox's side. They didn't want any part of the negotiation talks, and so
it's like their first game every single Saturday, and it's usually OU.
Yeah, 11 o'clock game. Don't get me started, but yeah.
Yeah, Marcus says he misses the days when Syracuse was a contender, and I'm gonna guess that you're talking about basketball.
Jimbo.
That's what I'm thinking of, and that incredible 2-3 zone that somehow is still.
We're not talking like Jim Brown era.
Or if you're talking about football, I mean, they were almost competitive this year for about 8 weeks, 2 months, which wasn't bad. I mean, they did Illinois.
I mean, they did have McNabb, so I mean, I don't
that's
know how,
true. Don't sleep on Donovan now. Don't sleep on Donovan.
But,
yeah. Well, I think at the very least for the Big 12, it's going to make our preview show earlier next year a little bit different too.
Yeah.
Because you're going to, I mean, the schedule is much different. Your strength of schedule is going to look different. Obviously, road games are going to even look different. There are going to be times OU hasn't played. I mean, if they played all the way out, I think they only play Cincinnati and BYU this year. But BYU, I don't know if it's at home. Do you know?
I think no. BYU is in Provo.
That's a tough road game.
Because
for one, it's a stadium you haven't been to, but also elevation is another thing. And
well, they did play there like back in the early 2000s.
Sam Bradford.
Right?
Yeah. No, that was neutral.
No, they played in Provo.
Okay.
Yeah, they played in Provo before. The BYU fans were excited about this. They like it was an easy game for them. So
okay.
Yeah, I mean,
series history. I'm pulling it up right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they played one in Provo, and then they played one down in Dallas, or something like that.
It's two current win streak is 2 by BYU.
Yeah,
2-0.
Because one of them they knocked Bradford out of the game.
Yep,
they broke his collarbone.
Yep. Oh, that was terrible.
Yeah,
and this is a terrible. I don't know what side I'm on, but it's supposed to be like history. It's terrible. Yeah, they played in 1994.
Maybe that
was in Arizona.
No. Okay, maybe I was wrong.
Yeah, I can't tell, man. This is a weird website, so it's not. It's like it's supposed to be Wikipedia, but for like sports winning and.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I mean I could be wrong. I know they did play one in a neutral site, and I'm pretty sure it was down in Dallas. I want to say it was in the Cotton Bowl, but or Austin or Dallas.
Could be.
Yeah,
and
so I could be
wrong too.
Yeah,
it's not a trusted site for me.
But yeah, I mean it will be different. I'm pretty sure they play BYU, Cincinnati, and UCF.
Oh.
But UCF is going to be at home.
Okay. Well, I mean that's good. That's a much shorter road trip for sure.
Yeah. I mean,
let me see.
It's just weird.
At Cincinnati, never. I mean, so Ohio, SM. We also play SMU and Tulsa. Oh, this looks like a really all-American, not all-American,
American Conference.
Like Conference USA back in the day. At BYU late in the year. That's a track.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's 100% a track.
Because isn't it like the week before isn't the second to last week before we play TCU?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you got UCF at home. You're right on that one. So,
yeah,
it's a funky schedule for sure.
Yeah, definitely weird. And yeah, I think it stinks for Oklahoma that and Texas that we're not able to get out early, at least for another year. I mean, I imagine they're still going to be discussing this, as this year goes on and into the off season of next year, maybe get out in 2024.
Yeah, and if you have one of like a BYU CINNCY or one, now they're not going to be a blue blood, but if they have a really high success and the trajectory looks good, maybe Fox is a little bit more or like okay with it for the short gap. But I don't know. It's going to take a lot of money.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all I got besides football. Are you ready to go?
Am I the only one that hears music in the background?
No, that's on there.
Oh, okay.
I forgot it was on there, but it's on there.
I was like, is something going? I thought maybe something was going on with my headphones. No, you're good.
Nope. That's just like, keep it chill, man. No. I forgot. I completely forgot about it. I was going to have it just in the beginning.
Before we jump in to the, big podcast, all that, I got one thing, and it's a trivia question for you and for the people in here listening. Maybe they know, but I didn't know if you saw the last active pro athlete drafted by the Expos retired. Do you know who that player was?
Last pro athlete drafted by the Expos retired. Oh, shoot. No, I don't. I can't even think.
Tom Brady.
Oh my gosh. Of course. Well,
Isn't
that's the one I would have had.
That's like the most insane stat.
Yeah.
The last active pro athlete drafted by the Montreal Expos, organization, Tom Brady.
Yeah, dude. Okay, so I don't know if Jake had that. Jake had Tom Brady. Nailed it, dude. Wow. That's okay. So that's a great question too. I would not have, I was thinking through who just retired in baseball.
I know, right?
Who had the late? Was Dexter Fowler? No.
Yeah.
Okay. Never would have guessed. Okay, makes sense. That was nice.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
All right. Yeah.
All right, you feeling ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Did you see the updated show notes I put in there in the chat?
Yes.
Like with the little, I was gonna mark it so that way if you, I don't know if you can do both at the same time.
The graph or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll go through them a little bit. But you ready? 3,
Yep.
2, 1, go. Welcome back, everybody, to an exciting Super Bowl preview episode of the W Podcast. We are so excited that you joined us today. And if you did not know, Jimothy here, and then we are always joined with Tubby, our co-host. Man, welcome to the show.
I'm ready for the Super Bowl. Are you ready for the Super Bowl?
I'm ready. If you're listening, you don't know this. I'm wearing my Chiefs hat right now. We had a whole conversation about what I could have decked out. All the coats, the beanies, everything. Dude, I could have been sweating in Chiefs gear right now. But I got to keep it fresh for Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah, make sure it's nice and crisp. You don't want to taint it before the game. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No. You can't do that at all. And I'm telling you, man, we got a giant at work. We got a giant Andy Reid, like one of those face cutouts. It's incredible. I mean, why not? It's Andy Reid.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So this brings up the great question. So it's Super Bowl preview episode. I'm curious, are you an actual food meal person when it comes to your Super Bowl watch party? Are you a snack guy? You want chips, dips? You want all those?
More like chips and dip. Meatballs, little smokies. Nachos. Yeah, stuff like that.
Okay. I like it. I am the same way. So that's question number 1. So if you're with us on YouTube right now, put that in the chat. Are you more like you want the hot dog, the burger, you want it's just something big, a big plate of nachos or something like that, or you just want to snack constantly throughout the game? I'd love to know, because I'm doing a bit of a poll here. I get a pulse of the nation, if you will, when it comes to Super Bowl Sunday. And so the next question is, do you start eating the snacks and stuff in the pregame?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, but do you fill your whole plate, or you just kind of finger pick at it?
No
questions, I know.
I would say I'm more of I'm gonna fill up my plate, then I'll snack throughout the game.
Okay. So my wife is an amazing cook, for those that are listening, and she will always make themed snacks, which is super fun for me, and it's kind of a bonus. So she will. Last time we were with some friends watching the AFC Championship game, and she was like, "I need to make it before we go." And it's like a 30-minute drive to go to this friend's house. And I was like, "Why don't you make it when we get there?" She's like, "But then the game will be started." I said, "The secret to a great watch party is not eating before the game starts, and here's why." Okay, you're gonna have to hear me out on this, because we're opposite opinions on this.
All right.
I think if you start eating, you fill your initial plate. That's when you fill the plate. Is halfway through the first quarter, because then you sat down and then you're eating, and it's great. You finish the plate probably into the first quarter, and then you're ready to go at halftime. Oh, man, timing is literally impeccable. You're ready to fill that next plate. And then it's crunch time in the fourth quarter, and you're not worried about snacks anymore. Like, you're focused on the game, and so you paced it out well. So I say that there. And the other reason why is because I truly believe that the worst feeling is when you get a plate full and now you're stuffed and you haven't even kicked off yet. I hate that.
I mean, very logical thinking.
See?
I mean,
See? There's algebra in it, but it gets there.
I mean, yeah. If we're putting math into it, I'm out. I'm not a math guy.
But would you? But if I invited you to a Super Bowl watch party and you're like, bro, where's the stuff? I'd be like, you can go and snack now, but don't fill a plate until here, and here's why. I'm not gonna boss you. I'm just gonna say it may not be all ready until then.
I mean, if it's not ready, then it's not ready. But if it's ready, your guy's gonna fill his plate, and then I will snack throughout the game. I'm not a small guy, so I mean, I can eat my food.
That's fair. That's fair enough, man. I was just curious. I haven't quite got anybody else to fully agree with me because they're like, why am I going to wait? Or they didn't want to miss the game. But I think so many people, at the very least, you could have it on your laptop, your phone, or you can probably see from your kitchen, maybe if you're cooking. Yeah. So keep it simple. I mean, you know what? Get pre-made dips. Unless you're Tubby's mom, who's a great cook as well. Yeah. I mean, is she making guacamole, man? That's all I'm wondering.
I don't know. I mean, she might. I don't think we've really, set out the
crunch time, man.
The menu for it yet. We'll get it whipped up. I mean, I know we're having like the essentials, like the meatballs, the little smokies, like chips and cheese. I'm sure we'll have other, little finger foods and stuff throughout also.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we got that. So we got our pregame meal set. We're ready to go. So today's episode is all about the Super Bowl. It's a Super Bowl preview episode. If you didn't know, we actually already had 30 plus minutes of bonus content back over on YouTube. So you can actually listen to this podcast and then head over to YouTube for 30 additional minutes, 30 plus. I'm just telling you. And we went off to some basketball. Who would have thought we would have talked about basketball today? But we did. We got into it, and y'all in the chat really crushed it as well. So thank you so much for coming ready. I'm just telling you, we both, Tubby and I lost it. We did lose it with what was going on. So today's episode, we're going to break down the Super Bowl. We're going to break out some predictions, of course. And y'all, we have been doing this predictions of each of the games throughout the playoffs. Tubby, do you know what our record is? And it's
8-3?
8-3, bingo. So I think we're pretty trustworthy when it comes because some of these games have been pretty out there. Yeah. So that's right.
There's like a difference between, just in like some of the games we missed too. It was like, well, it's understandable that you could have missed it because you had like I missed the Jags Chargers game. Who would have, thought
5 years later and you were wrong somehow.
Yeah. 27 down and lose the game. And so, and I think most of America was in on the Buccaneers over the Cowboys.
That is very true. And we even predicted, because we were recording that night, and we were like, okay, so they're probably going to win. So what does it look like? And not even close.
No, not quite.
Yeah, we kind of skipped over that too. So Tom Brady has retired officially. The last Montreal Expos drafted person, if you were in the YouTube, you'll know that joke, that trivia question, has retired. So do you think this is actually done? Like, is he actually done?
Yeah.
Okay. What's different?
That he saw how bad he played and knew that he didn't have it anymore.
Yeah. He doesn't. And that's okay. He's 45 plus, right?
Yeah.
45 plus. That's incredible that he played that long. He started in the league back when, dude, there's no real internet. I mean, there was internet, but there wasn't like you were to do fantasy sports, you were like calling or mailing in your roster.
Yeah.
Let's just throw that out there.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, it's, the fact that he, like you said, he did not look good this year. And I'm sure this is not the way he wanted to go out, looking as bad as he did and just getting absolutely murdered in the playoffs. But he did say he was like 37, 38. He said, I'm playing until I'm 45.
He did.
He did.
Yeah. So how about this? So the Cowboys have not won a Super Bowl since the early 90s, right?
96.
1996. Whew, man, that's a long time. So do you think that they should now hang a banner next year? They should have a ceremony that says we beat Tom Brady in his last game. And that's and it has the score on it, and in the playoffs, like that would be an incredible banner for a Cowboys.
We retired Brady.
Championship. Yeah, we're going to count it the same. This is a win. I see this as an absolute win.
Yeah, we won the Super Bowl that year. We took Brady out in his last game.
Oh, yeah. It'll be incredible. So, did you watch any of the Pro Bowl stuff?
I did. I mainly watched it for the skills challenges.
Okay.
Because I really like the skills challenge. And I think we need to petition the NFLPA. We need to bring back the quarterback club because that was like one of the best things. But that's the only reason why I watched it. I mean, I did watch the flag football, but that was because they had like the skills challenges in between each game. Mm-hmm. But I mean, wasn't that entertaining.
Yeah. It really wasn't, and I get it. I mean, they did the dunk contest version of the catching. I thought that was, unique. Yeah. I don't know how cool it will be 6 years from now if they keep doing it because there's only so much you can do. But at least right now it's new, it's fresh. One of my favorite things has always been where you do like the skills competition, like running a route, catching a ball, and then you get penalized for drops, all that kind of stuff, or the quarterback's throwing to hit targets. Love that. Always. I hated the way they did it. I hated the way they did the quarterback one. It was so boring. It was sterile. It looked like I was in a doctor's office throwing quarterback passes for sports science. It was not fun to watch. Yeah,
I like the giant screen coming whizzing by on the golf cart, and you got to try to throw the football, and it's got the chalk at the end of it, so I mean, and then
it was also those were outside, right? And they fans. It was Hawaii. It was great because it brought the game over there. This was inside a stadium. It looked like a practice. It sucked.
And we did away with the longest throw. I mean, that's like the most iconic.
Why in the world is Tyler Huntley in there if we're not going to do this?
Right? I mean, why is it's just, I'm like, come on. We need the quarterback club back. It was great fun to watch. And I mean, he had all the stuff, got the quarterbacks running through the little hurdles and dipping under stuff. Why not?
What I would also love is this could have been the one that Tom Brady's in, and they deflate his ball just a little bit. Hey, we know it's a little bit squishier for you. We know you like it. So that's a really old joke at this point. We probably shouldn't even bring that back up. He probably.
I mean, some kids may not even know the joke.
That's true. So Tom Brady cheated multiple times. Anyway, moving on. So we do have some new coaching. So Demeco Ryan, Texans, good fit. Nah.
Yeah, I mean, I think fit-wise is great because, he played his career there, had a great career as a Texan. I just hate it for him because
the Texans and where they're at right now.
Yeah, that's not the place you want to be. I thought I penciled in the Cardinals. I thought the Cardinals would have been a great spot for him. Come in and build that defense, bring in someone that can motivate Kyler Murray to play, and you have a really successful team because look at that defense he's built in San Francisco.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, you build that in, Arizona, and you get someone that can come in, like I said, motivate Kyler Murray to play football, you can have a really mean team.
So maybe
I feel that he's going to get fired quick, and I hate that because I think he could be a really good head coach.
Well, maybe – so that's the caveat for Houston is short leash, right? The good news is he does not have his quarterback picked out already for him. And
that's very true.
And we are not sold on Kyler Murray. Now, a new coaching regime, new bought-in system, belief, all that kind of stuff could change all that. But if it doesn't, are you willing to stake it on the guy who doesn't even care about football as much as you hope he does? And that's the challenge.
See, I think, though, that you go off of potential. At this point, Kyler Murray, potential is higher than any of those guys in this. Yeah, and so I would go based off the potential going, okay, if we can get someone come in and motivate him to play, and I can build that defense the way I was able to in San Francisco, we're going to have a really, really good team and a team that can compete every year. And I think that was a big problem for Kyler Murray is that Kingsbury did not get the best out of him. And you could tell as the year, each year that he just got more just blah. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be with him. And so I think a coaching change is going to be great for Kyler Murray. And hopefully we see some of that ability that we know he can, have, and the potential that he has. Whether or not he buys in is the biggest question. Can you get him motivated to play football? And if you can, and I think that's something Demeco Ryans is really good at, is motivating people to play. And that's why I would have liked to see him go somewhere like that instead of Houston, somewhere that has potential, because I'm afraid that they'll give him a year or two and he's going to get fired. And you know how things go. You get canned that quick, you may never see him as a head coach again in the NFL. And I think Demeco Ryans can be an incredible NFL coach.
Well, hopefully for his sake, the Texans also a more winnable opportunity right now.
Yeah,
like in the division, because other than the Jags, there's not a whole lot of positivity going around with the Colts or with the Titans. Neither one of them have an identity other than a running back, and we know that short lifespan of a running back. So last one is Sean Peyton found a new home, traded to the Broncos, which I always find it fascinating when coaches get traded. It just always blows my mind that they can do that, but they did. First round in 23 and second and 24 to the Broncos, the Saints. Who's a better deal for?
The Saints?
Yeah, I mean, they got something for him. Look at that.
Yeah, and because the thing is, man, if you're the Broncos, you miss, and he's not in. Say all the stuff with Russell Wilson wasn't just Russell Wilson, and a lot of it was Nathaniel Hackett and all that system and everything. If it's not that, and it's Russell Wilson is the problem, you're in trouble. You just mortgaged your whole future on that guy. Was it 3 first-round picks now, basically, a couple second rounds, third round, and $45 million a year for the next 4 years.
On the plus
you got your future. Yeah. You've got your future, basically stopped for the next 4 or 5 seasons, if that's the case. And if it is, you're in trouble. I don't know. I still, this question I don't understand is how is John Elway still part of that organization in the front office? Blows my mind that he hasn't been able to do anything and still somehow keeps his job. I don't care how much he meant to the organization, the franchise. It's not the same owners. You got a new owner. Get rid of the dude. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's terrible front office guy.
He can be a star guy, but let's get him on player development or player acquisition. It'd be great.
Yeah. Got it. Yeah. I don't understand it.
I'm on board. Keep it at.
keep him.
What was someone in my office said the great joke. They were like, "Do you think that Sean Payton called Russell Wilson when he got traded?" He goes, "Let's ride."
Did you see what he told Russell Wilson today? He said any personal coaches can't have them. They're not part of this organization anymore. And so maybe that will help. Going, okay, I'm gonna take you in and I'm gonna fix some things, because he had his own quarterback coach, all this other stuff outside of the team. He wasn't even using the team coaches and stuff. And so that's why I'm like, how much was this on Nathaniel Hackett being a new head coach? Yeah, there's going to be problems, but there's also big problems with some of the reads, and if all the audible stuff was right, the rumors were correct about him using the wrong audible terms and stuff like that. That's not on the coach. Yeah, that's on Russell Wilson. Yeah, and so if he isn't able to turn it around, they're in some big trouble. But I'm a big believer in Sean Payton as a coach.
Yeah, well, good. Okay, I like it. All right, so dude, it's time. We're gonna do some Super Bowl predictions now. And let's do any other news and notes. I think that's everything that we have that really matters right now. Any big changes? There'll be more as it comes. I think it would be fascinating. The rumor about the NFL being scripted.
Yeah.
How much do you buy into that?
Not at all.
As much as Arian Foster, or as much as the average person?
As much as Arian Foster.
He's all about it, dude. He said
I thought it was all fake. I thought all the stuff they were coming. I thought they were just joking around, because other NFL players were like, like Dan Orlovsky jumped in on it. He's like, the running out of bounds thing, that was scripted,
he would say that for sure.
Yeah, and so I just figured maybe Arian Foster was joking. So maybe I'm wrong, because I know a lot of the fans are like dead serious. Like, yeah, this is true. I know it's true. It has to be true, because all the reffing stuff in the playoffs, how they had to get Andy Reid versus the Eagles and all this other stuff. I mean, it's all fabricated. It's a lie. It's
they
not
say,
true. Come on.
but I believe that Arian Foster believes it. The
Okay.
dude is a little bit out there. I mean, it was a little bit Kyrie closer to Kyrie Irving than you or I. Put it that way.
That's true. Yeah.
So, and Kyrie Irving for a while was a flat earther, and then he realized, oh shoot, maybe I didn't really do research. I thought it was funny. There's zero chance that the NFL is rigged in this way. I appreciate Tubbs, and I appreciate that. Thank you, man. Eagles Claw.
Appreciate it, Eagle.
Podcast. We appreciate you coming and subscribing, man. Thank you for that. It got me all sidetracked. I'm all blushing up. But they said that it's scripted. How are you going to script some of this stuff? That I thought of 2 moments you cannot script. There's 0% chance. One of them was the Immaculate Reception, right? There's 0 chance. Although I will say, I'd never actually seen the footage of the ball over the ground because it was so random. But you can't script that unless and then you also can't script the David Tyree catch. You just can't. It was the chances of that actually happening are next to nothing. So in my opinion, and also you can't have a roster with 53 people times 32 plus practice squads, free agents, and fired coaches who are mad at the NFL or mad at owners, and not one of them's ever produced any of it.
Yeah, and the thing is, you think all these guys, like RG3, he tears his ACL. That's his career.
Yeah, great. Thanks.
You really think that he's going to agree to that being scripted? Come on now.
Okay.
Some of this stuff, just it's a joke. Come on.
Yeah.
You really think it's
heated about it? And I'm not going to get heated.
Yeah. I mean, it's just dumb, and people actually believe this. You're insane. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be mean, but come on.
I'm not trying to be mean, but you're dumb. Okay.
You dumb. Or we can pull the Travis Kelce. Shut your mouth, you
jabroni. That's what we should say. Anybody that says that, we just start yelling right there. Grab the mic for sure. Grab the mic. Shut your mouth. Incredible. So we have Kelce Bowl 1. We have seen this kind of thing in the Super Bowl in the past. We did have 2 head coaches coach against each other in the Harbaugh Bowl, 49ers versus Ravens. Joe Flacco's magical season came to an end that year after he won the Super Bowl. So it went out literally in New Orleans that year.
Literally.
I fell asleep in that Super Bowl.
That was scripted. They turned the lights out on purpose.
Yeah, on purpose. So this is Patrick Mahomes versus Jalen Hurts. Now, I will say this. Jalen Hurts, I consider him an OU quarterback at this point.
Absolutely.
And not everybody agrees because he spent 3 years, I believe, at Alabama, and he won a playoff game, won a championship, right? Did he win a championship?
But he was, but they pulled him. He was the start. They pulled him for Tua. You didn't trust him to win the national championship.
You're 100% accurate. Is he in the NFL if he doesn't go to OU?
No. Or he probably is. I would say he's in the NFL. Is he a starter in the NFL? No. I think he could be a backup somewhere. I mean, because look, if he doesn't go to Oklahoma, he's probably more along the lines of a Tyler Hunt.
But the chances are, I just feel like, I feel like 50-50. If that was the bet at best, I'd say it's probably not. I'd say he's 25% chance he'd still be in the NFL. Whereas now, clearly, because of Lincoln Riley and what he did as a runner-up as a Heisman, it wasn't even close. The first place that year, but still runner-up. That's why. Second-round pick. There's no way. You're probably right, practice squad, something like that. But that's why he's an OU guy to me. And I'm an OU fan, so maybe I'm biased.
No, I mean, it makes sense because they said Alabama didn't want him. They discarded him. They benched him in the middle of the national championship game for Tua.
Yeah.
And then it shows his loyalty. He set a whole year. Because he was like, maybe I'll get my shot. And he did. Yeah. SEC championship game comes in, helps him get the win. But even Nick Saban told him to go to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Because he knew that was his best shot at making it to the league. And he comes to Oklahoma, Lincoln Riley changes some things mechanically, throwing wise, and that's the reason he is what he is today in the NFL.
Yeah. Really good dude. So we're gonna do.
I got one thing. I mean, Oklahoma fans, we're not gonna claim Troy Aikman as our own. He played a year at Oklahoma, then transferred to UCLA. We don't claim him because he played at UCLA. He
Yeah.
got in the NFL because he was at UCLA. So
Yeah.
the argument's done.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Kind of on the same page here.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to do a position breakdown. So we'll spend just a few minutes on each one, not a whole lot of time, except maybe the biggest one. So do you want to start with special teams, work our way up to quarterback, or do you want to start quarterback, work our way down?
Wait, special teams isn't the biggest one. No, I'm just kidding.
We do have an all-pro punter on the Chiefs, so I mean
just saying. Yeah. Let's start from the bottom.
All right, so the bottom is going to be technically coaching because I added it afterwards. I was like, we probably should do that. So we'll start with coaching, and then we'll go to the position players. So I'd love to know, where are you leaning as far as the coaching matchup goes? Who are you leaning for? And you can go ahead and include some of the DC, the OC, that kind of stuff too. But I'd love to know.
Yeah, it's the Chiefs. Andy Reid. I mean, it's Andy Reid. And it's not taking nothing against what Sirianni's done. But Sirianni has done a great job at, taking his offense from what it was and then molding it around Jalen Hurts the way he played. He's done a great job there. And he's I love the energy he brings on the sideline. I know a lot of people don't like it, but Andy Reid is Andy Reid. Andy Reid, to me, is 1A, 1B top coach. I don't know. You know what? Andy Reid is the best head coach in the NFL now. Right now.
Let's go.
And there's nothing against Belichick, because Belichick is great. But if we're talking specifically right now, I'll take Andy Reid.
Okay, I'm going to also take Andy Reid. And, I mean, you can't really look at resume overall because it's like, well, one's got 2 years of coaching and he's in the Super Bowl already. And then you got Andy Reid, who has multiple Super Bowl appearances with different teams. So, or different leagues, even one with Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So it's not quite the same, but what Andy Reid has done with the Chiefs this year has been incredible. This, again, was supposed to be the Chiefs' gap here, and here we are in the Super Bowl. And I also love Eric Bieniemy has done a really good job with the offense. And then on the defensive side of it, I do think playoff defense with the Chiefs has just been much different. The play calling has been different. It's like he holds something back because he knows that they're going to make the playoffs. And so they just say, hey, we're going to go ahead and change it up a little bit. Here we go. So just on paper, I'm going to go ahead and give it to the Chiefs as well.
Yeah.
So we got, Dan also agrees on the chat on YouTube. He says Andy. So here we go. We got 3 for the Chiefs already. So this is a hot start. I'm loving it. Because I don't know if they did the Madden sim today and the Chiefs lost 31-17. So for whatever that means.
Yeah, didn't see that.
So we got special teams. So I already mentioned, I don't really think we should talk about the punters because there's only one All-Pro. First team All-Pro, and that went to the Kansas City Chiefs. I do think they do have the best. But when it comes to the rest of the special teams, kickoffs, field goals, this game could easily come down to a field goal. The Philadelphia Eagles lost on a last-second field goal once back with Tom Brady, against Tom Brady. So who do you got?
I have the Chiefs.
Even with, okay.
I think Butker is he was hurt a lot this year.
Oh, he definitely was.
And I think that played into a lot of the misses and stuff. And I know he does have problems with the extra points, but he seems like over the last 5-6 weeks, he's kind of turned things around. And the kick return game. If Pacheco's returning the kicks, Pacheco is a really solid returner. And if Kadarius Toney is healthy, him returning punts, or even Sky Moore. I mean, we saw that play in the Bengals game. That was one of the most crucial plays, him getting so close to midfield as he did on that punt return, I think is to where I lean more towards that. And I mean, I know Gainwell is a great returner also, but there's something about the way Pacheco returns the ball that he is fearless when he runs.
Yeah.
And I think you have a lot better chance of breaking away and getting more yards when it comes to that.
Well, he is, I think fearless is correct. That is it. 100%. Now, if I see Sky Moore out there returning kicks, I'm going to hold my breath every single time. So that doesn't happen. I'm going to lean towards the Eagles on this side because the Chiefs at times have not done a good job of kicking the ball out of the end zone or filling the right gap or lane, in my opinion. So that's my biggest area of concern right now for the Chiefs on special teams is kickoffs. And like you said, injuries have hurt Butker this year. He 75%. He's 18-24. Jake Elliott was 20-23. So both of them. I mean, Elliott was clearly better. The extra points is the other thing. And like you said, the extra points aren't gimmies anymore.
Yeah.
And he missed 3 of them this year compared to Elliott, who missed 2. So Elliott kicked a lot more than he did too. So for me, I'm going to lean slightly towards the Eagles on this one. So it should be good. I'm going to put 1 X on each of those. So there we go. So then we got defensive back. So this includes safeties. So I'd love to know, man, this is an Eagles defense that has been touted as the best in the league this year. Yeah. Do they hold up?
Yeah. I mean, at least if we're talking ranking-wise, yeah, that is the best secondary right now. I mean, we're talking these 2 teams, they are the best secondary. You got Slay, you got Bradbury, you got Chauncey Gardner-Johnson back, and, I mean, you just got a slew of guys out there. I mean, we've seen Blankenship, make big plays. Rookie safety. I mean, he causes the fumble at the end of the 49ers game. He makes some big plays, when he comes in for Gardner-Johnson against the Packers. Interception, fumble recovery. So they have depth out there, and they've proven why they are one of the best, secondaries and, one of the hardest teams to throw on. And they have, and I don't think this is even close, and it's nothing against the Chiefs, but the Chiefs they were the 31st ranked team in touchdowns allowed in secondary, passing touchdowns. And to me, it's not close. That secondary for the Eagles is one of the best in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, you look at them outside of Nick Bolton, their next top tacklers alone. I mean, they're making the plays are all defensive backs, and then you look at the turnovers, things like that, pass deflections. They are constantly around the ball. The biggest question mark I have for the Chiefs to say, if I wanted to lean towards the Chiefs, the biggest question mark I would have is just health. I mean, you look at Snead, and I don't know if he's going to be healthy enough to play. I hope so. I know the extra week should be able to do that. But Trip McDuffie, and are also rookies. This is a big moment. And so how do you play well with rookies out there? But they've also done a really good job. I would argue that they played better talent, though. They definitely, especially in the playoffs. And I know that maybe that sounds biased, but you played the Bengals, who had Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd, and who did get hurt. I understand that. But then you look at give me the Giants receiver that they had to, oh my gosh, circle him. We can't let him beat us. I look at that, and I just don't know that it's the same thing. And then you played against a quarterbackless team in the 49ers who, yes, had multiple guys to circle. Do not let him beat us. But when you don't have a quarterback, it doesn't even matter. You can't give him the ball. So this will be a great challenge. So it's almost dead even until I see rookie. And then I'm like, all right, fine. I got to go with the vets in this game because it's a big game. And they've also showed up all year. So I think it sounds like we're both going to go for the Eagles.
Yeah. I mean, I get the argument, who they played in the playoffs and all that. But, I mean, even the thing is that secondary for the Eagles, they didn't get beat against teams that they shouldn't get beat against. And that speaks a lot. They played good, and they didn't play down to the talent that they were playing. Yeah. And that is a big factor in it. And I get that, the pass rush is going to be a lot of help also when it comes to the secondary. But I think just talent-wise and ability-wise, I think the Eagles' secondary is, yeah.
And so there you go. All right, so that's why we're doing the breakdown. So then you lean towards linebackers. This can also include outside linebackers, which gets into that gray area of edge rushers. That's kind of a positional spot at this point. But just your gut reaction. I mean, who you feeling? And these are 2 different systems too.
Yeah. I if we're talking about linebackers, and like you said, the argument with the edge rusher, outside linebacker type thing, like Hassan Reddick and all these guys, I'm gonna classify them more as a defensive lineman because they line up on the defensive line.
They do.
So I'm looking at it, straight linebacker play. I'm giving it to the Chiefs. Especially if Willie Gay's healthy.
That's the other question.
Playing, that is a big thing. But it sounds like he should play from what things I've read. I mean, you got Nick Bolton, who is one of the ascending linebackers in the NFL this year, and Willie Gay has played really, really good. I think he's someone that people overlooked this year. I think him and Bolton are better than Kaiser White and Edwards. If we're, that core. But like I said, if Willie Gay isn't playing, that is a big, big problem for them. But if we're going with I thinking that he's playing, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. I think, like I said, I think Bolton has the chance to be one of the top linebackers in the NFL in the next year.
I love
it. Yeah.
Well, and I think that's on the same side with Gay.
Mhm.
He's got to be healthy because that was the one thing I was
Yeah.
like, again, the AFC Championship, after he got hurt, I was like, dude, they need to spy right now in the late game on Burrow because Burrow he's elusive enough and he's smart when he runs. And you're going to go against one of the best running quarterbacks in the league right now. You got to be able to have that guy who can kind of contain him a little bit. So linebacker play, I am going to lean towards the Chiefs because of the same reason. And now, if you would have taken the guys who are classified as linebackers but are edge rushers, then it's probably going to lean because those guys are real good, real solid workers right now. For Philadelphia. I mean, they got in the playoffs alone, they got multiple sacks and just tackles for loss. So you're seeing them do a good job.
Yeah, I mean, see, what made me decide that is that they have Carlos Dunlap as a outside, as a linebacker, and I'm like, he's not a linebacker, and so that's why I was like, okay, Hassan Reddick, same thing.
Yeah,
he's not playing linebacker, he's playing edge rusher, he's playing on the defensive line.
Yeah,
and that's where I was like, okay, I'm not gonna throw them in the linebacker group, even though their title is going to be outside linebacker. The outside linebacker in today's football is an edge rusher, is going to be lining up on the end of the line. Yeah, every once in a while they will drop back in coverage, but I've seen defensive tackles do that. I mean, I've seen defensive ends do that. So that's why I was like, I'm not counting them as the linebacker. I'm going to count them as the defensive line.
Okay. Well, so we're both the same on that side. So right now, the biggest difference is special teams. Everything else we agree on. So we're going to go ahead and look at the defensive line. So, I mean, dude, these two teams have solid defensive lines overall. So I don't know how you're going to separate it, but I'm going to let you start with this one because I want to hear how – I mean, a guy who has an eye for the player talent that you do, I want to know how are you differentiating?
I mean, Chris Jones is by far the best player.
Yes.
In the defensive lines out of both teams.
Yes.
And I love the the possibility of what Karlaftis can be. And Clark is a really solid, edge rusher also. But when I look at the collective of what the Eagles have and the stats and everything this year and the way they played, and you can argue they played worse teams and stuff like that. But you got Hassan Reddick with 18 sacks this year. You got Hargraves, who leads the NFL in sacks for defensive tackles this year. Yeah. Fletcher Cox is still a really good, defensive lineman. Josh Sweat's not playing, but I mean, you still got really good core of guys, and I think overall the Eagles' defensive line is better. And granted, they don't have the Chris Jones and the most, disruptive player, I think, on either of the defenses.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give a very, very, very slight edge to the Eagles because they had the highest sack rate in, NFL this year. Wasn't close. Had the highest pass rush success rate this year in the NFL. So I'm going to give them a slight edge. And I say this is a very slight edge because what the Chiefs have going for them is that defensive line group. Chris Jones, Karlaftis, Clark, Dunlap, Dana, who's stepped up his game the last few weeks. So I think there is that argument to be made. I'm just going to give a very slight edge.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's fair. So that brings up a great. So sorry, I almost forgot to do that too. So I'm going to do the slight edge as well. And here is my defining note is what's going to happen in the fourth quarter. Which of these teams runs the ball better? Which of these teams wears down the other team better? And talent can be a side of what the schedules look like so far this year. But the Eagles have been one of the best running teams, and they constantly pound the ball. They run the ball. And so they're going to wear you out. And so whether you are Chris Jones or not, you're going to have a break on the sidelines. So then I look at the Chiefs. Well, what is it going to look like for them? They don't run the ball nearly as much, obviously. I mean, you got Patrick Mahomes. You're going to be throwing the ball a bunch. So I just look at this. It's very slight, but that's almost the only reason it's the fourth quarter. What does it look like? The Chiefs are up by 14, then the Chiefs off defensive line will have it. But if the Chiefs it's a close game or it's a possession battle here, then that's when it's going to be I would lean closer to the Eagles on this one.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Hopefully, I'm hoping everybody's healthy for both teams. Just get a great game. I don't want to see you just want to see a really great matchup in the Super Bowl. So ready to move over to the offensive side?
Yep.
All right. This is the fun side. I think it's the fun side. I was an offensive guy in high school. I hated defense, but I played defense. I really loved offense. So,
I mean, you did have quite a few interceptions as a corner.
Yeah, well, we can go ahead and tell. I mean, we can say I was the all-time leader when I retired. So,
yeah.
Just
yeah.
That's right. All right. Okay, let's move on. Real quick. Can't relive the glory days that long. We could, though. No, we're not going to.
No.
All right. So, offensive line. I think this is tough. So, I mean, Creed Humphrey, I think, is one of the best centers in the game. And he sets the tone right off the bat. And I think part of what comes into play here is also just the quarterback behind in both of these quarterbacks. So smart about how to extend the play, not only just to pass the ball, but even to be able to run at certain times. Of course, both these guys knows how to scramble. So, and where are you leaning on this one?
Yeah, this is another one I think should be a lot closer than people think. I mean, the Chiefs' offensive line is sneakily one of the best offensive lines. I mean, you had 3 guys make it to it is the Pro Bowl, but you still had 3 guys make it to the Pro Bowl, and they had the number 1 pass rate, win rate for the offensive line in the NFL at 75%. 75% of pass rush, plays, that offensive line won, so that is a big deal. But the Eagles' offensive line is, I mean, across the board. You got Mailata, who is a great left tackle. I mean, it came out of nowhere. A rugby player.
Yeah, we'll go figure. He's great.
Yeah, I mean, the dude. I don't know if you know. Side note: guy has an incredible singing voice.
No, I did not know that.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, incredible singing voice. Dickerson. Yeah, I mean, well, they did come out with the Christmas album, the Eagles offensive line. Yeah, but yeah, okay. Dickerson is a great left tackle or left guard, and Kelsey. I think it's a very good argument between him and Humphrey, who is number 1, and then you got Lane Johnson, who is the best right tackle in the NFL, and that case is not even close. So I'm in this one. Can I do a toss up? But I'm gonna. I mean, because it is that close. But I'm going to give it just the slightest of edge. I mean, and this is even closer than the defensive line. And this is like a hair, invisible atom that you can't see.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it to the Eagles.
Okay. All right. Wow. And you just don't believe in the Chiefs. That's what I'm hearing. Yeah. No, I agree. These are probably the 2 best offensive lines this year. I would wager. I mean, I think PFF has them in the top 5s, but both are so good. Very well done and healthy, and that's the biggest thing. You got to be healthy at this time of year, and I think that was, what really hurt some of the other teams in the playoffs. So, it's a toss up. You picked them. I'm always gonna pick the Chiefs. It's a toss up. It's gonna be so. I mean, that's what's great about this is you really didn't get a team that was hot, and man, they pieced them together. Like, these are clearly the best 2 teams in the league right now, and they're gonna meet each other in the Super Bowl. So. I can't say anything else that you didn't say already. That's the thing is I love it. So we'll toss up split. So we took one.
Yeah.
All right. So we got tight ends. Travis Kelce, moving on, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's no discussion here.
I don't even need to talk about it.
Yeah. Nothing against Dallas Goedert, but you're talking about, by the end of his career, probably the best tight end to ever play the game.
Yeah. Yes, he will be.
Yeah,
because people sleep on his blocking skills, and he does a good job. He'll chip, he stays in, he releases well. He's just so smart as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, right now I would be tempted if you said all-time tight end starter, it would be Travis Kelce. I love Tony Gonzalez. Gronk is incredible, but Travis Kelce.
And you probably wouldn't get an argument out of me. I mean, it's like you said, those 2. Gronk and Gonzalez are the 2 that you come to mind. But, the way Travis Kelce has played over the last, pretty much his whole career, he's unguardable. Even when teams try to double team, triple team, he finds a way to find that hole, sit down, catch the ball, make the play. And like you said, his blocking is very, very underrated.
So I love that. Yeah. Travis Kelce, done. Okay, cool. Moving on to the wide receivers.
Yeah,
this is hard to even judge for the Chiefs because who gonna play? Who's gonna be out there on the field?
Yeah,
obviously you can't count Travis Kelce in this one, but MVS, Kadarius Toney, Juju Smith-Schuster, Sky Moore, Marcus Kemp. Don't sleep on it. Mecole Hardman ain't gonna play. And then so then you got Devontae Smith, AJ Brown. Those are the main guys. Technically, Pascal's out there, but it's really two guys. It's a two-headed monster. For that reason, those two guys are better than any of the two guys the Chiefs got. It's not close to me. The best receivers are clearly on the Eagles.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like the other guy for the Eagles, you can maybe throw in there if he's playing. And I haven't seen, if he's playing or not, or if he's been playing. Is Quez Watkins, and he's closer to MVS than
I would put him.
Any of the Juju and Kadarius Toney is to Devontae Smith or Brown. So yeah, it's not close. Wide receiver edge is leaning very heavy to the Eagles.
Yeah. So wow, I mean, we were flying through the offensive side of this. So, but hey, it's a little bit easier on that side. So then you go to running backs. You got Miles Sanders, who yes, he is a 1,000-yard rusher on the season, 1,200 yards. He had 11 touchdowns, which did not outpace Jalen Hurts, who had 13 rushing touchdowns. But Miles Sanders also did put in, well, I guess he didn't put as many catches as I thought he did. So he had 20 catches in the year, not really right home about. But so you got him, and then you have Isaiah Pacheco, who in the playoffs has done a decent job, 60 yards a game. No touchdowns, though. That's been the thing. I mean, he's a rookie. He's not finding the end zone a whole lot, but he runs hard, like you said. And then Jerick McKinnon was on fire, the best running back in the league for about 4 weeks in a row in the fantasy football season. And he's really kind of come back down to earth, but he's really smart back. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was activated. I don't know if you saw that.
I did not.
He probably shouldn't see the field like him. But combined, they had 8 touchdowns. He and Pacheco had 8 touchdowns this year. So Ronald Jones may end up getting, I think he was technically suited up in the last game. But it's really, and I guess I didn't mention it either, but even with Miles Sanders, you have Gainwell, Boston Scott as well. What are you feeling?
It's Eagles.
It's Eagles. What about Trey Sermon?
No. There is another Oklahoma back on that team. Practice squad.
Oh.
Brooks is on the practice squad.
Okay, I like it.
But
the two OU backfields.
But yeah, I think Miles Sanders and Gainwell, Boston Scott, like I said, those three are, pretty solid. It's not the best, 1-2-3 tandem, but there's a lot more questions on the Chiefs side. Can we see the McKinnon that we saw the last 5 weeks of the season? I don't know. And then Pacheco may be the most talented pure runner out of any of them, but he's his rookie. And like you said, they don't find the end zone very much as a running team. And that is part of the scheme when it gets down to the red zone, that they don't really run the ball much down in there. But I think if you just go over with the ability and stuff like that, right now it's the Eagles.
Yeah, I will say since he took over the starting jobs with the Chiefs, they are 10 and 1 since he took over as a starting running back after the Chiefs. Before that they only had 2 losses, but there you go. So, and he's getting more touches now. I will say that I think he could be one of the biggest X factors if he can find a way to get the ball rolling. He had 12 rushes for 95 against the Jags, and then against the Cincinnati they couldn't find anything, but he had 10 catches, 26, but he did have 5 catches for 59 yards. So I think as long as you get him involved somehow in the game, and they'll have to with the lack of 100% in wide receivers, they're going to have to figure that out. So I'm going to lean towards Miles. I'm going to lean towards Miles Sanders. I don't want to as a Chiefs fan. I really do not want to. But even in the playoffs, this guy he's shown up. 11 carries, 42 yards, 2 scores, and the other game 17 for 90. So go Miles Sanders. Yeah. All right, so we get to quarterback, and we cannot forget Jalen Hurts' dual threat ability, 13 rushing touchdowns this year, and then he comes back. He's healthy now in the playoffs, and he's making great decisions. So that brings up the question: who you got?
It's Patrick Mahomes.
Let's talk about backups too in this one. You got Gardner Minshew versus. I'm kidding. We're not going to do that.
It's Patrick Mahomes. There's not really much more you can say besides it's Patrick Mahomes. He's the best quarterback in the NFL. and it's taken nothing away from what Jalen Hurts has done this year, because you put him up against about any other quarterback in the playoffs this year, it's Jalen Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact is that you're going against the best quarterback in the NFL, who we just saw win 2 games on 1 foot.
Mm-hmm.
And now you give him an extra week of, rest. He's going to be even that, closer to, fully, maybe 75% instead of the 50% he was 2 weeks ago. And 75% of Patrick Mahomes is probably everyone else's 99% or something. I mean, he's just that good.
Yeah. And I would lean also Patrick Mahomes. I will say, like, in the playoffs right now, he's had to throw the ball a lot more than Jalen Hurts. They have given up 14 total points in their 2 playoff games, the Eagles have. So he has not had to throw the ball, but he's completed 63% of his passes, which is fine, for only 5.6 yards per attempt, which is not great. But 2 touchdowns, no picks, only sacked once each game to Mahomes, who is 70% completion with 7 yards per attempt, 4 touchdowns, no picks, 3 sacks. So, again, I mean, the numbers will speak for themselves, but even running the ball, he has done Patrick Mahomes has done a good job of staying out of sacks. He's not putting up the rushing numbers like you'll see even Jalen Hurts, who has 2 rushing touchdowns. But it's going to be, even though, pure quarterback, either one of these has the ball with a chance to win it in the last part of the game, I think you got to feel confident. You got to feel confident. Yeah. And then it comes down to the other positions that we talked about, whether it was the defensive backs, the line, and how tight is that defensive line, Yeah. You can look at this, and I don't know if you can see it right now, but we got 1, 2, 3, 4 that were Kansas City won, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 that Philadelphia won, and then there were 2 split. I'm just saying.
I mean, it should, if hopefully, like you said, these guys that are hurt are able to play. That hopefully they play, so we have what could be on paper one of the best Super Bowls we've seen in quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
Where you have the 2 best, like you said, 2 best teams in the NFL playing against each other.
Mm-hmm.
So
and so that brings up the question. Madden did the prediction today, 31-17 Eagles win. If you look at ESPN, it shows a 50% chance the Chiefs win, 50% chance the Eagles win, which literally is a coin toss. But if you look at the line, it's still 1.5 favored to the Eagles. So this is the moment of truth, Tubby.
Dude.
You got to make a prediction here. Do you want me to go first? I mean, you went first on all the other things. So
I'll let you go first, because honestly, I'm so conflicted on this one.
Yeah. So I'm going to pick the Chiefs, and here's why. You look at the Eagles' schedule. Both teams went 14-3 this year. The Eagles were really only 14-1 when they had Jalen Hurts in there. So, I mean, the record's even a little bit better. But they didn't play Patrick Mahomes all year long. They played Daniel Jones. They played Dak Prescott. They played Brock Purdy. I mean, they just didn't have to. And that's the luck of the draw on there. So the Chiefs haven't really had to play Jalen Hurts either. So you're like, but to me, they've played against some of the best quarterbacks in the NFL and the AFC. So I'm leaning towards who's got the better quarterback, and it's Patrick Mahomes. And I've been saying it all year long, running will win the game. Running the ball more will help you win the game. So the key for the Chiefs in this game is going to have to be Pacheco. He's the X factor. Because Kelsey's going to do what Kelsey's going to do, I hope. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to have the receivers who are going to have to catch the ball, hold on to it, move the ball down the field. The Chiefs do that, they can get a turnover or 2, hopefully, and then that leads to a win because it's Patrick Mahomes. The Eagles, for me, my biggest thing is I haven't seen them play a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, and so I just until I see them do it, I can't say that they're going to win it. So my
very
score,
good argument.
I didn't predict. My score, the over/under is 50.5, and I think that's pretty close. I don't think it's going to be a shootout because these teams do have solid defenses. So I would probably put this one at like 27-24 final Chiefs win.
Yeah. Oh man, this one's tough. It really is. And, most of the time when it comes to the picks, I have my mind made up and I go, okay, this is who I think is going to win. And this one, since the matchup has happened, I've back and forth on this one because I'm like, I can argue this and could be what happened, but I can argue this and this is the factor. To me, it comes down to both sides of the ball in the trenches.
Mm-hmm.
Offensive lines, I think, it negates itself. Defensive line is close to the same thing. And
well, you didn't help yourself, man.
No, and I didn't. But it comes down to the fact: can the Eagles pass rush get to Patrick Mahomes? 55% win rate on pass rush for the Eagles. Tops in the NFL. You got the 75%, pass block success rate, for the Chiefs. And so I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
Whoa.
Defense does win championships, and I get this, but you've made a really good point. They haven't seen Patrick Mahomes, and you could argue they haven't seen an offensive line this good at protecting the quarterback. And Patrick Mahomes he's a magician. We've said this before on here. He's a magician. He finds a way to get out of situations where you go, oh, that's a sack. Turns it into something, incredible, horizontal touchdown or, the over the shoulder flick, something wild is going to happen. And it's Patrick Mahomes. I can't pick against him. And I haven't
been here too. He's been here.
Yeah.
Recently.
He's been here. Yeah. And, if I was going to pick against Patrick Mahomes, it probably would have been against the Bengals. And that's nothing against the Eagles at all. Because I think the Eagles are the second best team in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
But the Bengals have had their number. And that was the one time, you got to hurt Patrick Mahomes. You got to hurt Kelsey. You got all these other, factors of these injuries. And they still find a way to win this game against that team that has won 3 games consecutively against Patrick Mahomes. I just don't know if they can. I don't know if the Eagles can do it. I don't think there's enough people that have experience. And Sirianni, this is his first big go as a head coach, and it's Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes. All right, so you got to give it. So right now we're both 8-3. We got to see who's the better predictor here. We both picked the Chiefs. That's fine. So now we're gonna have to see what's the score.
I'm gonna go with. You pick the Eagles special teams. Well, I'm going to go with Harrison Butker. Kicks a game-winning field goal and wins 21-20.
Oh, man. Okay. All right. Well, that means – so you're telling me that the Chiefs will have either 7 field goals or a 2-point conversion in there?
Yes.
You can see – okay. All right.
2-point conversion is going to happen.
Okay. Well, we'll see. So that's going to be the determining factor here. So you're also taking the under. I took the over.
Yeah, sure.
At 50.5. I'm at 51. You're at 41. So you definitely took the under. But look at that. Man, I love it. So Super Bowl MVP, who you picking? Butker?
I'm going to go with Chris Jones.
Ooh. So he's
I'm going to go. Yeah, I'm going to go wild. I'm going to say he has multiple sacks and he has a fumble recovery.
Okay, strip sack fumble. I love that idea. Okay, that'd be great.
Why not?
So we both so if in reality it's going to be Patrick Mahomes or Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
So we're going to pick the other guy, right? Who somehow manages it. So for me, I've been saying his name the whole time, Pacheco. Somehow Pacheco has an incredible game, and he had multiple touchdowns. Maybe he gets the kick return touchdown or something random like that. And that's what sets the Chiefs up to win. So I'm going to take him as my sleeper MVP because here's my thinking. It would be Kelsey if it wasn't Patrick Mahomes. But if his numbers look great, Patrick Mahomes' numbers look great. So that's why I would say that. So I like the Chris Jones, though. I really do like that.
Yeah, why not just throw something out there? I mean, I'm sure that his odds are like super low, Vegas, but why not? I mean, I picked it. I picked a defensive struggle anyways. Why not have a defensive guy win it?
That's true. And maybe that's like the last moment. It's another. That could be it. I don't know. Chris Jones is a beast, and he's got the sack in the playoffs now off of his back, like not having one off after all this time. So I think you can see the flood, hopefully, what he can do. So, man, I'm excited for the Super Bowl Sunday. It's going to be good.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think it's going to be a great game. And I'm sure people they may not want to see defensive struggle, whatever. But as long as it's a good, close game, that's all that matters to me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, dude, the buzz here in Kansas City is electric right now.
Oh, I imagine.
It's so fun. Like everyone's excited. Every conversation. You walk by someone you don't know. You don't know anybody, and it's, bro, let's go Chiefs, right? Let's go Chiefs. Or maybe they say something mean about the team they just beat. That happens too. But the fans here are incredible. And what I do know is if I'm not, I hate pregame planning here, like planning out what would happen. But I did talk to one of the guys who works really close to where I live, and he was like, "Man, when we won the Super Bowl, 54, is that right? 54."
Mm-hmm.
He's like, the parade here, it's shut down. It's shut down. Yeah. Everybody leaving. You couldn't go anywhere. So, and it was right by where I live. So I'm like, let's go.
Yes, I mean, basically a national holiday. So
it should be, yeah. And the next thing is, I mean, after that, you'll have the NFL draft, which is less than it's like a 10 mile from my place. Dude, I'm not even kidding. If you were interested at all, you just come up here,
dude. Yeah, I might have to.
Yeah, dude. Could you imagine you at the draft, man? You would be incredible there. It's just W Podcast live tweeting everything.
I don't know what I would do. Honestly, I would probably flip out.
Oh, I'm just saying, you should consider it.
I might. Yeah, I might have to make a trip up to KC and go to the draft.
You can just do day 1, day 2, right? Like boom, boom, and then it's only 3.5 hours from your house.
Yeah, I mean, it's not far.
Yeah.
I might have to make it a trip.
Think about it. Bring your dad.
I mean, we are going to have some, draft coverage leading up to the draft. Have some, I'm going to be putting out some, position rankings, and I may do a mock. We may do a mock draft like we did last year.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, top 30 players, whatever. May do something like that. Instagram, Twitter, stuff like that, so you guys can keep up with that. Maybe in the next few weeks, because I have already been watching highlights, diving into games, players.
Senior Bowl.
Yep. Oh yeah, I watched Senior Bowl practices. I watched the Senior Bowl. Yeah.
Guys, y'all don't even know. This is a huge. I mean, he's a great prospect guy. That's what you want. He's great with baseball prospects too. And so this is okay. So as we end this episode, if you're like, I just came here for all the Super Bowl predictions, so I'm going to talk about baseball here for a quick second. One of my favorite things about the NFL season this year and going forward, because of the Week 17, is we end on like February 13th or something random like that. And guess when pitchers and catchers are born?
February 13th.
Dude, it's the best thing ever. What a gift.
Yeah.
That we get baseball as soon as we get to hopefully celebrate. So if the Chiefs win, I get to celebrate this high of like, man, let's go. Let's go Cardinals, St. Louis Cardinals all day, right? And just in period, baseball's back. I love baseball.
Yeah.
So, but if they lose, I get to mourn quicker because baseball's back.
Yeah. And then we could also be cheering, Team USA.
I know.
We got the World Baseball Classic. So, yeah, I mean, this is like one of those, NFL did good with the schedule now, making it where it just ends basically baseball starts. Yeah. And then you got the draft, free agency, all this stuff. Yeah, it's a great time for sports. I mean, there's not really a dull time for sports, but this is one of those intersections where the sports, kind of just mesh up at a perfect time.
Oh, yeah. Well, speaking of meshing at a perfect time, this podcast episode was incredible.
We got one thing.
Okay.
So we have been hinting on about the giveaway. I say tomorrow, Super Bowl Sunday's coming up. Why not? I'll put out a video tomorrow announcing the giveaway and the stipulations of how you get entered into the giveaway for the signed jersey of a professional player.
I'm on board. Yes. Tubby is our resident social media coordinator. Without him, there would be no social media. No social media. So, yes, I am on board. I'm excited, man. Love a good game.
Me too.
All right. Yep. Well, you got to stick around. Make sure you're subscribed if you have not already. What are you doing? Subscribe. Right. Subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe on the podcast, on Apple Podcasts, Google podcasts or wherever if you're not listening, if you're not an Apple Podcast person, I don't know, Spotify. There you go. So there's
Spotify, yeah.
You can do that. You can review it. We would appreciate that. But also just join the chat, man. It was a lively chat this week in YouTube. So thank you guys so much for supporting. Tubby says it all the time. We do it because we love sports, but we also love talking sports with other people. And so you guys make this thing so much fun. Thank you guys. Just thank you.
I can't say it any better. I mean, you summed it all up right there.
Yeah. Well, we'll see you guys after the Super Bowl, but enjoy the Super Bowl. Look forward to talking and breaking down everything next Monday. We'll see y'all then.
See ya.